Hello and welcome back to the Summoner's Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. It's an hour after my last recording and feeling much better in terms of my cold, so we're going to do another recording. This time of really what is one of my favorite dungeons in this entire game, the Lost City of Amdapor. Back when 2.2 was new content, this showed up almost every time I ran Expert Roulette, so I became very, very familiar with it, and never really got particularly tired of it. It's a fun little dungeon with some very interesting mechanics. So, trash pulls are pretty basic, but there are a couple things to keep in mind as we get to through the various sections of the dungeon here. My thumb keeps slipping and hitting Bane prematurely. Now, the gremlins can actually inflict a status condition. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like misery or something like that, which, interestingly enough, can be cured by using, I believe, the comfort emote on the affected target. It's one of the only cases in the game where an emote can actually cure a status condition. It's a very fascinating mechanic that not a lot of people know about. Alright, now down at the bottom you see kind of a little, almost looks like a little tree thing. That's actually a mold colony, and we're going to have to take care of several of these during the course of this dungeon, and it should be your primary target. It's going to drop little tainted mold ads, which are basically kind of bombs that will explode if you get too close to them. It's going to keep spawning those until the mold colony is defeated, so take care of those, and then take care of the heck dies. Of course, if the tank pulls the heck dies to the over to the mold colony, you can use AoE tactics such as Shadow Flare and Bane to continue working on the heck dies. Above all, make sure that the tank has the heck dies and that you don't pull any aggro on them, because they hit very hard. Now, there will be several sections, like this one here, where you see a door with two treasure coffers. One of the treasure coffers is legitimate, the other is a mimic. And though I did used to run this dungeon quite a bit back in the day, I do not, unfortunately, I do not remember which one is which. It's always the same combination, and I believe, and this happens twice when there are two treasure coffers in front of the door, and I believe that the second one is opposite of the first. So I think if the first one has the mimic on the right, the second one has the mimic on the left. And I don't remember which one it is. Most of the time anymore, people just ignore the treasure coffers. Okay, so in this case, the one on the right is the correct treasure coffer, and the one on the left is the mimic. So I believe on the second set of coffers like that, the one on the right is the mimic. Alright, now it's time for the first boss. The Decaying Gourmand. It's a guru that likes to devour party members. This boss is actually not a bad one at all for summoners, because their AoE mechanics actually work out pretty well. Alright, so he marks his prey, so it's... never mind, I'm not going to be able to deal with this mechanic, and he's going to eat me. Alright, so now I am in the stomach. If other party members need to destroy the voracious maw to let me go. Now, if I weren't the one that was devoured, I could have simply baned Miasma and Bio onto the Decaying Maw as soon as it appeared. Which I think we'll see that happening shortly. Oh, except Bio dropped off, so Bane was not nearly as good as it could have been. That's really all you need to know. And of course, those puddles of spores you don't want to be standing in. Whenever he drops a big circle AoE on somebody, as soon as it resolves, the spores will be left behind. Okay, so the second section is going to have some, it has an interesting mechanic that we have to deal with. I'm going to wait and see how far the tank decides to pull. Okay. Now try to take out the Wamura as soon as you can, because the Wamura actually are able to heal. Again, it really doesn't matter as long as you're pushing DPS quickly. Alright, so this is another mold colony. So take out the mold colony first. Once the mold colony is down, move on to the Hectides. Alright, so here's the mechanic that predominates the second part. These gadflies drop puddles embedded food. You'll take constant damage over time while you're standing in that fluid. Now, there are two ways to do this. The first way is the way we're dealing with it right now. Take out the gadflies as they appear, which will cause the fluid to disappear and open you up to the next section. The other way, which is more common in speedrunning, is to just muddle through, fight your way through to get basically to a section where there isn't any fluid, and then basically make a larger pull in that manner. So you'll see it both ways. So don't be afraid to go into the fluid if the tank is making a larger pull. If the tank is playing more conservatively, then you'll probably just take out the flies before you move on. But before you start dealing large amounts of damage, try to find a safe space. Alright, well, like I said, since the left one was correct on the first one, the right one, the left one was the limit on the first set of chests. The right one is the Mimic on this set. Alright, so... again, we can take the gadflies up here, or more commonly, tanks will actually pull the gadflies down into the second section, or into the bottom section there, and work on the gadflies at the same time as the mold colony. Note, I haven't really been using my big AoE hits like Shadow Flare or Enkindle, mainly because we haven't really been making that big of pulls. So I'm probably being a little more effective with single target damage. Alright, so the mold colony. Alright, the tank is going to try to pull the Hektais over here and not attack the mold colony. So let's take out the Hektais first this time. Never mind, the mold colony is aggroed. I'll do that. Then I'll take out the mold colony. Oh, there's another Hektais back there. I believe this set of fluid disappears when the mold colony does. We'll test that out. Nope. Okay, I think Hektais might spawn from the mold colony as well. I didn't actually have that confirmed, but it looks like we have more than were originally there. Alright, there we go. When all those enemies are down, the fluid goes. So again, like in any other one of these mold colony encounters, you want to take out the mold colony first. Alright, time for the second boss. Now, the Ranch Remora is not the boss. The boss is that guy flying around. He's currently untargetable. What's going to happen is, whenever the Ranch Remora dies, it's going to release basically scales that will they'll basically attack whoever killed it. The scales will draw the boss down. So what the tank needs to do is not really tank... yeah, whoever has the most of those scale stacks is who is going to be attacked by the boss. So the tank needs to kill the Remora adds to make sure that he keeps having stacks. Because if the stacks fall off, the boss will fly up into the sky and then heal. So this is very different in that the, oh crap. That the aggro has nothing to do with the actual hate table. See, now you'll notice the boss healed up quite a bit because he managed to get out of range. That's why again, the tank needs to keep attacking the Remora to keep getting stacks of the scale flakes. And that's really the only way he's going to be able to maintain hate on this boss. So that's that. Again, this is really up to the tank to make sure that he's pulling the adds and getting affected by the scale flakes. But as long as he's doing that, it's a fairly easy boss. So once you're done with the second boss, head into this third section, which is very different than the first two sections. Alright, so the pulls in this, you need to take care of the Baelzephon. In order to take care of the Baelzephon, you must first destroy the white mage stones. Because while the mage stones are up, the Baelzephon is invulnerable. Now, most of the other enemies in this area hit pretty hard. So you do need to be very proactive in putting out as much DPS as you can, so that the ads don't absolutely wreck the tank. Fortunately, I've used all of my cooldowns on this one, so it might be a little interesting in the later ones. The Kindle probably won't cool down before the end boss. Alright, this Belzephon has 4 white mage stones. Alright, so the mage stones are down. The dirty eyes actually died pretty quickly, but they do hit very hard, so I'm gonna make sure to get every one of them with my Bane, and then drop a Shadow Glare and see if I can get as many people as possible. Belzephon decided to go after me. Alright. And now it's time for the end boss. And this is a very interesting end boss. We're taking on Diablos, the devil himself, as it were. Okay, so we're trying the burst strategy. Alright. Alright, so we are going to try to do this not by the books, but I'll explain how to do it by the books while we're just trying to burn him down. These diabolical gates, as you see, have symbols on them. What you need to be doing in the first few seconds of the battle, if you're playing it legit, is finding the gates which symbols match. It's convenient to put marks on the gates that match so that you know which ones to use. When he uses the attack Ruinous Omen, you need to open up 2 gates with matching symbols. That will cause you to be sucked through one gate and come out the other gate. While you are in between gates, you are immune to the effects of Ruinous Omen. Ruinous Omen hits very hard and puts stacks of something called Diabolic Curse on you, which can make you more susceptible to future hits of various attacks, including Ruinous Omen. And I should have turned around for that one. So basically at this point with those 3 stacks, if I get hit by Ruinous Omen a second time, I'm probably gonna die. But we're doing a burn strat where we're basically not worrying about gates and trying to get him down before he casts Ruinous Omen a second time. It looks like we're gonna pull it off. We have sufficient DPS to do it. You just have to be... You have to be very upfront with the entire party that you're going to be doing it that way before you try, because if people are not completely devoted to using a burn strat on that, it'll go wrong. I've seen it go wrong plenty of times. But this party did it very well, so we didn't have to worry about the doors, and it does make the dungeon it does make the fight a lot quicker. But just know, sometimes when you're playing this, you will be using the door strategy. So I'll give you kind of a primer. What you're going to end up doing, if you're the one person will be designated to work the doors, and if you're the person designated to work the doors, find the pair you're going to use. Open up the first door right away, even before he starts casting Ruinous Omen. Then, when Ruinous Omen is over halfway done, in fact, I'd say closer to about 2/3 of the way through the cast, that's when you want to open up the second door. If you open it up too early, you're going to be kicked out of the gate before Ruinous Omen goes off, and you might as well not even have used the gate. Going through the gate does give you a debuff, so it does weaken you to use the gate strategy, but it is the safe way to play the fight. So yeah, if you are the person designated to work the gates, open the first gate of your selected pair right away, and then when Ruinous Omen is about 2/3 cast, open the second gate, and that should keep your party safe from Ruinous Omen. I would say, if you are marking gates, mark 2 pairs. Use like the 1 and 2 markers for the first pair and the 3 and 4 markers for the second pair. You should only have to do gates twice. DPS is enough now that, again, as you saw, we managed to get him down before the first set of before you cast Ruinous Omen a second time. So you'll never have to worry about seeing it a third time. Well, anyway, that's all. I'm getting a little long-winded on this one, so I'm going to cut it off here. Only one more 4-player dungeon left in the 2.2 series, and that will be Halatali Hard Mode, and then a couple of trials, and then we are done with 2.2 content. So we'll keep on muddling through, and until then, have a great day.